Hello and welcome to Paper Plays Julie K. Thanks so much everyone for stopping by and spending some time with me. And today I have a design team project to share with you guys for Angel Dream Crafts. And again, Angel Dream Crafts is a store on Etsy that's owned by Kim, and she sells gorgeous laces and trims, doilies, bling, just to name some of the items. And if you guys open up that description box listed below, I will have a link to her store along with links to the other ladies who are part of her design team this past quarter, and also links to past videos that I created for Angel Dream Crafts showcasing some different projects, and also tutorials and design team packages. So of course, if you haven't checked them out, I would love to have you guys go and check them out. And for today's project that I wanted to share with you guys are some doily bags, or doily pockets you could also call them. And while these are pockets, you very easily could go ahead and add a strap to them and make them into like a little purse or a different type of bag that has a string or a ribbon on it. And so the first one I wanted to share with you guys is this small one. And again, the base of it started off with two small square doilies that I sewed together, and then on this particular one I happened to add a lace over it, and then on the back side I did end up decorating it just a little bit with some bead trim that was in my stash. And I'm showcasing all these pockets with some little treats in them. I have some hot cocoa and some candy canes. They do have chocolate in them, and then this particular one I stuck a little gift card in it. But you could easily also put other items in it, such as a small journal or crafty goodies for a friend also. And when you look at the front of this one, I do have this beautiful image of Santa Claus. It's a digital image, and I did edge it with some bead trim from my stash, but this beautiful pleated trim. It's there's two laces on this trim. There's a satin and then the lace on top of it. And it is pleated, so it makes it really easy to go around an image and frame it out. And then in the corner, I also have this beautiful trim right here that's a cut-up trim. It's one of my favorite trims. This is the trim right here, and you can see how easy this one is to cut up and create little flower embellishments. And so that's what I did right here in the corner, and I added a flat back pearl. It is one of my favorite trims from Kim's shop. At the bottom of the Santa Claus image, you can see I do have one little snippet of a Venice trim from her shop. And I went ahead and added a bling that also is in her shop. She does have quite a few different styles of bling. And that one's the rhinestone one. Underneath here I did hang a couple of dangles. I did add a bead trim first. And I have this beautiful trim, dangle trim right here. And I do have a small remnant left of that one to share with you guys, so you can kind of see what it looks like when it's not all glued down. But it is a beautiful trim. And then underneath that trim, I have this trim, which is another trim that Kim carries in her shop. This one has the leaf dangles on it. It's a really fun trim, and it's really popular in her shop. And then underneath that, if you look on the back side, I do have a fringe trim. This one came from my stash, but I know that Kim is now carrying that in her store also. And what's cool is she does have several different colors. She has kind of a coffee or vintage colored one, and she also has a pink one besides the white. So that's a really fun trim to add to your different dangle layers. And so that was the first pocket I created. And here is the second pocket I created. And again, I use a lot of the very same trims that I just showed you guys. And I also added this trim on this particular pocket. This one's really pretty. It's really elegant, and it has the little flowers at the bottom, which you can cut up. And I did cut out some of the flowers, but I also used it in its entirety. If you look at the sides of this square doily, I went ahead and wrapped it around the side just because I wanted my edges to have nice clean edges. And I added flat back pearls to it. And then on the back side, you can just see a little bit of that trim. And I also added it up here, and I wrapped it over the pocket again, just so I had nice clean edges. At the very base of this one, I did add this fringe trim, which is from my stash. And it creates a nice little pocket, so you could add a gift card in there, or you could add a small little card. And then on the front side, I did use this particular braid trim. She does have two in her shop. She has this one in her shop, and she also has this braid trim in her shop. And I used this one on the other pocket that I'll show you guys in a minute. And the other trim from AngeldreamCrafts was this gorgeous flower trim, which I love, that I also used on here. So I used that flower right here in the corner and added a flat back pearl to it. That cut up trim with the flower. Here's the braid trim that I edged around 3 sides. These little flowers came off of this trim. And let's see, this little flower is just a remnant left over in my stash. And I added some bead trim that also came from my stash. This beautiful dangle Venice trim is from AngeldreamCrafts. And so I added that. I don't have any remnants left over to show you guys because I used them in all my projects. So this was the last of that, and I really love that. And I did show you guys already the 2 dangle trims that I used underneath here, so I'm not going to go over those again. But I really love how this one turned out, and as I was making this one, I will have a tutorial on how I created this one, so you guys can see my whole process of how I created the pocket and decorated it. And I hope to have that tutorial up on my channel tomorrow or the next day, so be on the lookout for that. And the last little pocket that I wanted to share with you guys is very, very similar to this one. Created almost exactly the same way, but I had to use some different trims on this one. I used some older trim in my stash that I folded over the edges right here because I did not have enough of this trim to complete the whole project. If I would have definitely used this trim because I think this one looks a lot more elegant than just some basic plain trim underneath there. And I also then on this one, I finished it off with some bead trim on my from my stash. And I used one of the little flowers from that cut up trim again. It was this trim right here. Same flower up here, some more of that cut up flower right here, and then I added some ribbon roses from my stash. And then back here you can see I edged Santa Claus with some more of that braid trim in the other style, and I added some flat back pearls on top of it. I had another bead trim that I put at the base, and again added this gorgeous Venice trim and the same different dangle layers on that. And the back side I did almost exactly the same as I did the other one, but again I didn't have that flower trim, so you can just kind of see the basic lace that I used, and added some of the pearl bead trim from my stash, and I made a pocket at the bottom, again just to stick whatever you wanted to. And you can kind of see the doily that I used, and again this doily came from a design team package that I received from Kim back in November. And it was a big 4-square doily, and I went ahead and cut it in half, and then I folded it and I sewed the edges. And so that's kind of the basic of how I created that. And again, I just stuffed it with some different treats. Thanks again so much everybody for watching. I hope you were inspired by my project today. And again, don't forget to open up that description box and check out some of the links that I have provided for Kim's shop and the other design team members and some of my past videos. And also, if you are interested in watching this process tutorial on how I created these, I will have that video up again in the next couple of days. And until next time, thank you guys so much for watching. Have a wonderful day and happy crafting.